here, and welcome to our review of The Tomorrow War, the newest film from Amazon Prime that hits their video service on July 2nd. This one stars Chris Pratt as a family man who is drafted to fight in a future war where the fate of humanity relies on his ability to confront his past. It is directed by Chris McKay, and I was like, that name sounds familiar, so I looked up his IMDb page and I was like, oh, he directed the Lego Batman movie before this. That's crazy. Because they're the same movie, right? No, I love the Lego Batman movie, but that is an animated form. It's a completely different medium. Now for the Tomorrow War, like he's taking on a big budget, science fiction, aliens, time travel, a giant amount of effects they have to create. This is a humongous undertaking, so I was kind of shocked to see who the director was, just given his previous movie and just the completely different styles that they are. So I saw the movie. I thought he did great directing the film. I like this thing quite a bit. It screams summer blockbuster. I really wish I would have seen this in a theater. I think it would have been a blast to watch with like a crowd, especially like at a midnight showing, just really getting the movie theater community alive and just enjoying themselves. Like this would have been a fantastic movie to do that in. But I like this one quite a bit, and I think if this is anything that you're interested in, whether it be action films about aliens, time travel, science fiction, thrillers, suspenseful films, whatever, futuristic films, I think this is a great watch that you, I don't think you would regret. I would recommend this one highly on Amazon Prime. Like I said, July 2nd. So, let's kind of break this down. What I really like about it the most is that this film feels epic. Now, I hate using that term loosely because I know a lot of critics use it like everything feels epic nowadays. Yes, I'm sure it does. But epic to me just like it feels like this sprawling adventure that feels like it takes place over the course of many decades or years, and the locations that they use, just the amount of world building that this universe has, like I put all that into account, and I really do feel like this is an epically told movie. It feels like three separate movies in this trilogy in one. Like each set piece, each act feels like its own separate thing. However, it does come together beautifully. This is not one of those cases where like, oh, they should have made it into a trilogy because it feels like everything is just crammed together in rush. No, that's not the case. By the third act, I was like, oh my goodness, we still have 30 minutes left, and like we've seen so much, like what else could they give us? And then it's like a whole great third act on top of that. So yeah, I thought this film was quite epic, and just its scope and its presentation, and I really enjoyed that because I had a lot of investment and fun following these characters in this storyline and just trying to understand their rules in time travel and just all that stuff. I loved it. I love that type of feeling that you get when you watch a movie and you're like, I'm so invested into the story and the characters that I don't want it to end. I'm having a blast watching it. So it does feel epic. Second thing, I also noticed that it brings it heavily from other movies as inspiration. But it does stand on its own 2 feet as its own separate thing, and it's even got stuff that I'm going to remember it for, and not be like, oh, that's just a ripoff of this. But I did notice that it has influences of like Starship Troopers and Edge of Tomorrow, Alien, even like hints of The Thing running around in there. So a lot of great influences kind of just coming together to create its own separate thing, and I really appreciate that as well. The one thing I am going to remember it for is the design of the aliens. Terrifying. Yes, their bodies look a little goofy and a little lanky, but their faces are like something out of a Silent Hill nightmare. And I really appreciate that because it really adds like this sense of dread and threat to what they're trying to face. And it does seem like it's never ending and like they're just going to always get beat down to the ground, and it's going to be really hard to stand up against them. But that's what makes the hero's journey in this film so much more satisfying, just for the amount of pushback that they got to do against these aliens. So I will remember the aliens for sure, and just their design, very, very terrifying. But yes, I think Chris McKay did a very good job in just telling the story, making sure the rules are set out clearly, because that's the thing with science fiction films, and especially time travel films. Every film has got their set of rules, and usually the rules can be jumbled up, or they just don't make a lot of sense. And so when the plot kind of moves forward, maybe some of the rules are forgotten, and they're just like, oops, that doesn't make any sense, even though we'd explained that earlier. With this film, they lay out the rules very clearly, and I thought it was interesting on how they viewed everything with the time travel, in terms of, like, I won't spoil anything, but, like, let me just try to word it as best as I can. Like, dealing with everyone's ages. I thought that was a really kind of clever way to go about everything that they were talking about, because of, like, the paradoxes and everything. You don't want to screw up timelines. So given the certain point in time that they're all going after, whether it be the past or the future, it was a really clever way to incorporate their age and everything. So, yeah, I thought the rules were set clearly. That was no problem. The action set pieces were really just awesome. It was like watching like a really cool like video game cutscene, and I'm like, I want to play this game. Once again, I don't think that's a criticism. I just thought it was just really action-packed, really well kind of staged, and just really kind of kept you at the edge of your seat, because you're like, what is going to happen next? Who's going to go next in terms of deaths? Like, you know, I don't want anyone to die. Like, this is a very dire situation. But there are a couple things I will ding this movie on, and I think this does fall on Chris McKay just a little bit. I do think the sound mixing on the music compared to like the dialogue and the effects was a bit off sometimes. I thought the music was a little bit too loud for comfort, and kind of drowns out a little bit of the dialogue in some of the scenes, and it kind of just pounds away at the screen, and sometimes it does take away from the effect of what you're seeing on screen. It's just a minor thing. Second, it does get a little goofy towards the end of the third act with some of the fighting. That's all I'll say. Definitely dips into like Fast and Furious territory. You know, this film can be goofy at points, but I don't want it to ever steer into that category. And the third thing that kind of bothered me was the choice to add voiceover. Now, I don't mind if a film is being narrated by its main character, protagonist, whatever. It's got to make sense. You know, if the story starts that way, please end that way. Just consistency as well. The movie ends that way. It never started that way. Never really had any like middle section with VO. It just kind of ends that way, and it's kind of awkward. Doesn't really flow well. And I do think this film, for the most part, sticks its landing, but that is like one little hiccup that it just happened out of nowhere, and I'm like, that never happened in the earlier stages of the film. So those would be kind of my only complaints, and I think most of them fall on Chris McKay and just kind of those decisions. But for the most part, I really like the film that he crafted. It's fantastic. To get into some of the performances, everyone did a fantastic job. Chris Pratt leads the film. He's always been a leading man. You know, he's got that star power, that presence. You can't take your eyes off him, because he's just so charismatic, and he carries the screen well. But I really do think the supporting cast is what makes this movie. Yvonne Strahovski. I always not stutter, but I always pause when I see her last name, because I try to like get it and my brain doesn't connect. But I first saw her in Dexter like way back in the day, and that's how I first noticed her. She's wonderful here. She's probably my favorite part about the movie. I'm not going to spoil her character, but it's a really important character, and I thought that performance made the entire movie when it comes to like the order of performances. Betty Gilpin's in it, plays Chris Pratt's wife. She's always great. If you guys have never seen Glow on Netflix, it's canceled now. Dumb. But she's my favorite character on that show, and she's a fantastic actress. And so, she's not given a lot here, but she does the most with it. Same with J.K. Simmons. Not a lot going on. We understand why he's there and like how to correlate, like Chris Pratt and like his family life and everything. I get that, but it's J.K. Simmons. He does what he can. Sam Richardson, who I have seen in many movies kind of pop up as a supporting character. He does that here too, but he has a little bit of more of a role to really kind of show people that he's a great comedic talent. And he can pull off action scenes, and he can pull off the drama really well. So it's kind of like a nice testing movie for people that have never even heard of him to see him for the first time and realize that this man is super talented. And as a side note, I'm excited for that other movie that's coming out very soon with him, Werewolves Within. And then everyone has little to no screen time at that point. There's a couple that stand out, but for the most part, that is your main cast, and I think everyone delivers it really well. But Yvonne, my favorite for sure. The effects in the movie are actually pretty well done. I thought they were going to be a little janky. Maybe the green screen was going to be really terrible, or maybe the actual animation and the mechanics of the alien were not going to really mesh well with the live action scenes. That's not the case either. I thought they were, like I said, they were terrifying, really well designed. And I thought they fit into the scene well every single time, and the lighting plays well with them. When they're in the shadows, they're even creepier. So I thought the CGI of like the aliens and like just the action sequences, just everything about it. Like I really felt they were in the year 2051, really well done. So I was actually really impressed. There was a couple times where it looked a little off. Once again, towards the third act, it seems like towards the end of the movie, it's where everything starts to deravel just a little bit. But look, with the credits start rolling. So a couple spots where the animation looks a little, but for the most part, really well done. I don't know what else more to say. If this is your type of movie, I'd say go for it. I really had fun with it. I wouldn't mind watching it again. I got an Amazon Prime account, so I think I might do that. So let me know down below what you thought of the Tomorrow War, whether you liked it, you hated it, loved it, just whatever. Let me know down below. I would like to know your thoughts. But that will do it for this review, guys. I'm Chase Lee, and tune in next time for whatever I review next. I will see you guys later.